David Ducker coming back at you, and today I'm going to be talking about heat, about emotional impact in the campaign. I'm often guilty of neglecting the heat factor. I tend to have very high concept games, very philosophical, very complex politically. So there's a lot of plotting and scheming in there, but it's all big picture. Heat is the small picture. Heat is two guys who just don't like each other. They don't get along. It's two guys who have done horrible things to each other. I was reflecting on Return of the Runefangs, our previous campaign. We had some great heat in that campaign. We had Hildebrand Servatius killing Blaine Charrington, Ulrich coming out for revenge, saying, "You killed my friend, you mutilated his body, and now I'm going to do worse to you." And that was a great scene. You could feel the visceral anger inside of that when they clashed like two titans. I mean, everyone really cared about who was going to win. We didn't want Ulrich to die, and we didn't want this motherfucker to be the one to kill Ulrich. We had so much great heat there, and with Theodore Lyons and Conrad Morig, they had heat with each other as well. With Conrad just disrespecting the man, calling his knightly order false idols, false oracles, liars, saying they were dishonorable, and Theodore coming in and just he was hot about it. He had the heat factor inside of him. So heat can really add to a game. You have a villain you just hate. Darth Vader is a great example. He killed Biggs Darklighter. He cut off Luke's hand. He threw Han Solo down into carbonite. I mean, this guy had so much reason for everybody to hate him. Just want to see him finally get put in his place. And of course, eventually they turned that and they made him sympathetic. But you had to start from a point of caring, whether it's hating him or liking him. And then you can switch between to some degree at a later point. So heat is something that can really help the game. It should be something you're always looking for. How can I get heat into this game? When I have my player character, what kind of person would he hate? What would someone have to do to him to provoke and invoke his hatred? And then do it. I'm often guilty of overlooking that because my games are so complex. There's so many other things going on to drive the interest. But emotion is pretty much all you need. I have all these other things, but I don't need them if you get the emotional impact. If you say, okay, we've got a villain, we hate him. We're going to chase him for the entire campaign. This whole story is just our battle against this guy. And you could certainly do that. You could have a campaign and say, okay, guys, make a character who hates this certain warlord, and our campaign will be about bringing him down. And that would be a great campaign. I'm very tempted to run that at some point, except that I love my high concept too much. I've got all these different philosophical, cosmological ideas I want to explore first. But all you really need is that heat. So I just wanted to do a video reminding everyone, don't forget the emotional impact. A villain, someone who you just don't get along with. Even if he's, your friend, if he's on your side, technically, but you don't get along with him, that can be great. And you might never turn him, but it's like your frenemy, your rival, the guy who you're trying to outkill. Like, we're fighting the goblins, and he's fucking bragging about how he killed 20 goblins last time, so now I got to kill 22 goblins, just because he's being so braggadocious about it, and he's got this enormous ego, and I can't stand listening to him. I just want to tell him I killed 22 goblins. Just put him in his place, deflate him a little bit. And that can turn, a standard goblin bash into this really interesting, emotionally driven game. When you're taking these risks against goblins you might not normally do, foolishly perhaps, but with good emotional reason to do it. So let me know what your best tips are for injecting heat into your game. Let me know about some great moments of antipathy in your games in the comments below. And until I see you again, keep it hot.